Otakuology podcast with Otaku Mike and Jin Graves.
Do you really want to taste it? Taste it? What am I talking about? I'm talking about the Otakuology podcast. That's what I'm talking about. All you gotta do is just give us a little lick. Hey, how's it going? I'm Otaku Mike. With me, as always, is Jin Graves. How are you doing?
Obviously, I'm not part of the cool kids because I ain't licking shit, okay?
Right?
I've seen too many movies. Step Brothers, where you gotta lick the white dog shit. Christmas Story, where he licks the ice pole. It's always bad when you gotta lick shit, okay? So I ain't licking nothing.
Are you sure about that?
I am definitely sure about that.
Would you lick Peacemaker?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Not at all. Not at all.
Nope.
Okay. So today we are covering.
Would you lick
What?
Peacemaker?
Yeah, probably. I would probably give him a little lick.
Pervert.
I mean, I would probably touch him.
So are you
touch
trying
him.
to say that you're a John Cena fangirl?
I mean, I like John Cena in this show. Like, I thought he was really good in the show. I now have come to appreciate him as an actor, and I thought he was really good. Like, he had a lot of range.
Yeah.
In this, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a John Cena fangirl. I mean, I enjoyed him when he was a wrestler, but like it wasn't like I was like, it's John Cena, you know.
I just remember the whole, and his name is John Cena.
yeah,
That's all I remember.
Became a meme. That became a meme. Yeah, that for sure did. Yeah.
Well, and then the other weird thing is like, me and my brother have talked about it. Because I asked him if he's seen Peacemaker. We were going over the other night what DC and Marvel movies and TV shows we had to watch and catch up on before, like what we had left out in the universe, basically.
Yeah. On
the live action side. And, I watched New Mutants, and he's like, oh, I've never even seen that or heard of it. I'm like, what? The movie, not the comics.
Most people haven't. I mean, it got rave reviews, I think. It got really good reviews, but I don't think people saw it.
Yeah. I watched the other day. I thought it was pretty good.
That got like pushed back and stuff.
Yeah, but as we were going through stuff like on our list or whatever, he's like, I haven't seen Peacemaker, and I was like, what? He goes, now I know I'm basically a John Cena fangirl, but no, I haven't watched it yet. I'm like, what? How are you gonna say that and then not watch it yet?
Yeah, I mean, that's for sure.
That's for
sure.
Let me toss this past you real quick. Stepping away from DC for a second and going to Marvel, just for a split second.
Fine.
So he's really riding this wave on that he hasn't seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And I'm like, you've seen everything else? He goes, yeah, but not Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And it's like he's not trying to see it. And I'm like, I question your moral instincts at this moment.
Why?
I have no idea. It's just really weird. So I have no idea. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Did he see the first one?
Yes, he loved the first one. But for whatever reason, even watching Endgame, anything else that would have led up after Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, never has seen it.
So he's seen everything else but number 2.
Yes. And at this point, it's basically its own meme just because he hasn't seen it.
You should sit him down one time and be like, okay, we're going to watch this and put on Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Right. I'm going to have to.
Like, what's his, like, reasoning? Just hasn't? That's it?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay, well, he sounds like a weirdo. Just
Because
saying.
he could sit down and watch it but hasn't, because he also brought up the other night, uh sticking with our anime continuity shit. um oh, I gotta do my rewatch of Death Note for this year. And I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
I don't know
why?
why you want to rewatch Death Note, but okay.
Oh yeah, he rewatches Death Note like every year.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, there's
And
anime that I love, and I don't watch it every year.
right, but
That's
that's where
weird.
I'm kind of like, okay, but you still haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and you still haven't seen Peacemaker, so I'm questioning continuity here.
Which are made by the same person. James
Yeah,
Gunn
yeah.
made both. After
Maybe
he got
he's a
fired,
maybe he's a James Gunn hater.
he got fired from Marvel for some tweets. He went over to DC and made the Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
And we'll talk about that later on in a different podcast. But you want to go ahead and jump into this episode or this series and talk about it?
yeah, but you got to do the dance.
I can't. It's this audio podcast, not a video podcast.
That's okay. We'll be selling it for $5.99 on our OnlyFans, Otakuology, so you can see Mike do the Peacemaker dance there.
So
Now
I guess, do you want to?
it's only $7.99 to subscribe to the page, but for the special video clip it'll be $9.99 or $5.99.
So
So
so do you want to start off with I guess the intro and talk about that for a second?
sure.
What did you think about when that popped up? The intro.
Um Honestly, I really didn't care about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of, there's like a part where they dance in the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, kind of like that.
Uh-huh.
So when it first started, it kind of made me think about that. But I kind of liked the background things because it really seemed like they were in like a fun house almost.
Yeah.
And then,
Some people say that's them all possessed by the butterflies, which we'll get into later. Because they all have no expression on their face.
I don't think so.
That's what some people say.
Yeah,
Some people say that.
I don't think butterflies know how to dance.
I have to say I was taken off guard with this intro, and I loved it. I watched it every time an episode played. My wife thought it was a joke at first and thought it was only for one episode, but I was like, we got to watch it all the time. It gets us into the episode. It gets me in. It
I
gets me hyped
I
up for
didn't
the episode.
I didn't care. I mean, I think it was kind of like a little bit of a red herring though for some things,
Yeah.
because there were some parts where like at the end whenever he picks up Judo Master or whatever,
Uh huh.
I thought Judo Master was going to join the team at some point, and he
Oh.
obviously never did. But
Well, it's funny because Judo Master is a hero or a superhero in the DC universe.
yeah,
It's interesting how they like changed it kind of for the TV show. So did you know anything about Peacemaker going into this other than his appearance on the movie?
I knew the name.
Okay, I knew he was a comic book character from Charleston Comics, and DC bought Charleston and got all their characters.
Yeah,
But he's like a very, very obscure character. He has only become relevant within the last year. Like really, like
yeah,
he's pretty
because of the
much like
movie and stuff.
a D-list character that they don't really use that often in the DC Comics
Yeah,
universe. So I was pleasantly surprised to see that he was in the Suicide Squad,
yeah,
and then he got his own TV show. Now I was a little apprehensive of would this be good? And I have to say, just right off the bat, this show blew me out of the water. I thought this show was phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
Just get that out of. I thought it was fun. I thought it was fun. It I would rewatch it again. And honestly, I'm kind of glad they're getting a season 2. To be
yeah,
honest, because I want to see what else they
right.
could do. But let's get into this. Let's talk about this. Talk about the show. Um, so this takes place
Well,
5 months.
so real quick in the intro
All
that
right.
I wanted to add is
What?
you really see all the main characters in that, which is I think another aspect that I like.
All the characters are in that.
Well, I mean all the main characters. You don't have like
Yeah.
side people in it,
Yeah. Yeah.
that aren't really relevant to the story, like the
Yeah.
FBI agent A and FBI agent B, like that, you don't have those
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
But everybody else,
True. True. So this takes place 5 months after the events of the Suicide Squad movie. And at the beginning, it's like previously on the Suicide Squad, and they show you what happened to John Cena. Basically,
yeah,
he ends up betraying the team, killing Rick Flag, which is a big thing in this show, and he ends up potentially dying or possibly dying at the end of the movie. We find out that no, he is not dead. If you watch at the very end of the movie, you find out he's not dead, and they're going to use him for some special mission. We don't know what it is. Well,
right,
uh, Peacemaker wakes up. Christopher Smith. He wakes up. He in the hospital room, and he's like, so that's it. I can leave. He's been in there for 5 months basically. And they're like, yeah, you can leave. And I have to say, I really like this interaction he has with the janitor, where
yeah,
he starts talking to the janitor, and he's like, yeah, I'm a superhero named Peacemaker. And he's like, oh, you're that racist superhero who kills all the
right,
minorities. He's like, look, okay, I will kill more white people if that makes you happy.
right.
I feel like we kind of set the tone for there, and we get this what would you call it? Um,
Well,
scene where
and then he
go
tells
ahead.
him the whole thing of, if you ever need me, I'll be there for you.
Yeah, if you ever need anything, I'll be there for you.
Which
It's
I really thought that was going to be an empty promise. Like we weren't going to get to see him have to make good on that promise,
but
and
he
then
does later
we get
on.
to it later on. Yeah,
Yes.
I
Oh
was like, oh, they
yes.
really added this in there. Oh shit.
Yeah. And so we we see Peacemaker take off, and he tries to get away. He goes back to his house. Come to find out, A.R.G.U.S is tracking him with the bomb in his head, and they basically kind of take him in and force him to do a off the books mission for
Right.
them. He doesn't really know what it's for yet, but it's interesting to see this because I didn't realize he was gone for 5 years in jail,
Yeah.
like at all. I had no idea like it was like that long. Um, but it's interesting. We meet the team. We
Well,
have
and here's the other thing I want to bring up on that
uh huh.
because, and slight spoilers of future episodes, but you kind of get part of it. I didn't know that he was a bisexual superhero or whatever,
Is he?
and until his dad brings it up. He
Oh,
goes, "Oh," he goes, "You slept with women and you slept with men." Da 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 da. You know, and so I really question why he never tried to hook up with anybody in jail in those 5 years.
I no. I think he does reference it when he's talking to Harcourt in one of the scenes. I think in his first or second episode. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
was like, why didn't he hook up with anybody?
but he goes to see his dad to get equipment, and his dad is very much, I don't know how you would say it. He's a racist slash very right winged individual. Very much the come and take it kind of guy, if I could say, but a little more extreme than that. Very
Yeah.
yeah. And he starts talking about his time in the Suicide Squad and talking about blood sport and all this stuff, and he gets all these all this new equipment. We meet his sidekick Eagly, and Eagly is probably one of the best things in this show.
I
Uh,
agree.
I kind of question if it was a real eagle half the time or not. Who knows? I think it was probably a stunt eagle. It's probably a stunt eagle. Yeah.
When it hugged him.
When it hugged him and he's like,
Dad,
Dad,
get a
Dad,
picture.
get a picture, get a picture. He's like, fuck off.
And then the second time when he hugs him, he's like,
Uh,
snaps the picture, like, yeah.
but yeah, Eagly is his best friend. Um, and I can't remember if we don't really know what exactly happens. Like mission wise, they're kind of starting their preparations for the mission,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, because they're trying to assemble the team together.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the team, who they are?
Yeah, but you'll have to say the names because I can't remember. All of
Okay.
them have weird last names, so I can't ever fucking remember them.
So
So we got
we got
Peacemaker,
Peacemaker. We have
and by extension Eagly,
Eagly. We
and then we
have
have the main boss guy.
yeah. His
Um,
name is Myrrh.
yeah,
And
Myrrh,
then we have Adebayo, who is the daughter of Amanda Waller. She shows up. We have
right?
Harcourt, who is an Argus agent.
And
Uh,
she's kind of like the second in command.
she's kind of second in
Right?
command, badass.
Yeah,
And then we have
we have John.
Economo.
Yeah,
Yeah, John Economo.
he's
Then
he's like the computer guy, computer
yeah,
hacker.
and then we have later on we'll have Vigilante, who shows up in like episode 2, I think, or he's in episode 1. I can't
I
remember.
don't think he joins till episode 3.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's interesting because they're. I love the part where they're all sitting down to eat dinner, and he shows up in his Peacemaker outfit,
Right.
and they're like, "What the fuck? Did
I'll
you
have a
wear that always?"
salad.
I'll have a salad. I'll have a salad.
You gonna sit here and eat with your helmet on?
Yeah, and they kind
Well,
of have.
just the banter
Mhm.
part, I think I like too, because at some points it seems like Peacemaker's kind of a really stupid character.
Yeah,
Like when they sit down to this thing and he goes, "Hey, sweet cheeks, can I get my order
yeah,
taken or whatever?"
yeah.
And
He
they're
is. He
like,
is.
"That's kind of like a derogatory thing to say." He goes, "What? She had sweet cheeks?" And he starts like rubbing his cheeks, talking about it. They're like, "No, that's talking about the butt." And they're like, "He's like, no, it's not."
Yeah, he very much has his own ideology in
Yeah,
this, and later on we'll see him change over time. Like he's very reluctant to join the team. He doesn't want to join the team whatsoever
yeah,
uh when it comes to this. But I think we do see a vigilante in this first episode, but he's not vigilante in it. In this, he's like a busboy.
yeah,
I think it is, yeah. And so later on, Peacemaker ends up hooking up with a girl he meets at a bar, and he like fucks the shit out of her, and he thinks she's like the best thing ever because she has all this good taste in music, and we
yeah. She
find
looks like she's from the '80s.
yeah, she looks like she's from the 80s, and we find out that she is now attacking Peacemaker with a knife, and we have this really cool fight scene, and he ends up having like this chase through like the apartment, like almost dying. It seems like he
Yeah.
gets the shit beat out of him in this first episode, and
Right. Well, not only that, but every time he has to jump off a roof or whatever, it always seems like he like dislocates his arm, so he's got to pop it back in or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
And he's like, "Oh,
But I love the way how this ends because he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know why he's doing this mission or having to do this secret mission stuff. And he's running in his I think he's running in like his underwear, and he
yeah,
gets to his helmet and he's like activate sonic boom. And he just blows up this woman, like just like turns her into mush.
yeah,
And that's where our first episode ends
right."
with
Well, so like an honorable mention thing for that is I like when he first puts the record on
yeah,
and he's sitting there in his underwear and he's dancing.
with her vibrator.
Yeah, yeah, he grabs
He's
it at one point and he starts using it as a mic.
yeah.
It was just
Do you want to
funny
get
because you're like, "What?"
Do you want to get into the next episode and talk about that?
Uh, yeah, because I'm trying to think. At the end of this one, wasn't this where the couple, or was it the next one?
It's the next one.
Okay, okay. Um, yeah. So going into episode 2, um, we have where everybody's saying like, okay, well, what are we gonna do with this stuff? And he starts asking about like what Project Butterfly is,
Yeah.
because they keep calling these people butterflies, and nobody knows really just yet what it is. And we do have that split where uh Peacemaker finds like his biggest fan, which is Vigilante,
Yeah, his buddy, his
and
pal.
and it kind of unravels from there, which is really funny. Um where the trailer scene where Vigilante's outside in his costume and he's like, "Oh, hey man." Da-da. And you see Peacemaker throw up his hand. He's like,
Yeah.
"I'm not gonna look," because usually when people say stuff like that, there's a dick in your face. And he's sitting there and he goes, "My dick's not out." And he goes, "Yeah, that's what people that with their dicks hanging out would say."
Yeah, don't they end up going like doing like target practice?
Yeah, he's like, I collected a bunch of appliances when you went to jail or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, they're just all out in the woods and this different places and stuff for them to
hmm
blow up or use different weapons, and they have target practice. And
But I think we skipped that to where we totally forgot about how he was trying to escape from the apartment buildings because all the police were showing up, and he
oh, at the
took
beginning,
people. Yeah, he took people hostage.
yes,
Yeah.
he kind of like took a couple hostage. He asked the guy to pick all his stuff up because he had it in like a bed sheet,
Yeah.
and then the wife kind of kept looking at him because of one of the albums that he had,
hmm
and then like the wife and the husband get into an argument over Peacemaker, because he's like, "Oh, you want to fuck him, don't you?"
Well, she does end up fucking him
Well, yeah, she
later
does, but at that
later
moment,
on.
she doesn't.
Yeah. Oh, and we totally forgot about how when the police get all the fingerprints,
Yes.
Economo turns the fingerprints into Peacemaker's dad's fingerprints, and Peacemaker's dad gets arrested.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
because and there's a bunch of stuff that leads up to that. Like they run the license plate on the car, and
hmm
he put it under his dad's name,
Yeah.
and then they have they tell the couple, "Hey, don't pick anybody," and they just so randomly happen to pick his dad out too.
Yeah, because they bribe his them to
To not
to
pick
pick
Peacemaker.
yeah, it's not pick Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I liked at the end of this episode because they had little clips like throughout at the very end of the episode and stuff.
Yeah.
if you watched it for this one, when they have this scene where they're picking who it was and everything, the
Mm-hmm.
girl goes, the wife goes, "Hey, can I have the picture of this hot stud right here or whatever?"
Yeah.
Which it is Peacemaker, and she takes it, and the husband had heard her, and he goes, "Well, you're just such a whore, of course," or something like that. So I
Yeah,
thought that was really funny
they
because it was
definitely
just
have
witty banter
problems.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All the things at the end were kind of jokes,
yeah, yeah,
like little jokes or whatever.
yeah. And I mean, it was funny. We saw that escape. We saw um, everything with that. We kind of got to have a little part where Murr and some of the rest of the team were talking about Peacemaker. Is he okay to know what Project Butterfly is yet? Because for a
Yeah.
little while they don't want to tell him what it is.
Yeah.
Um, Autobio is kind of trying to figure it out because she's got her wife and her two dogs with her.
Yeah.
Um, and it kind of Hardcore tells her, you don't need to do that. They need to move somewhere else. Which I almost think at some point, like Autobio's going to get a divorce.
In this
Just
season?
yeah, like in this season, just for some of this stuff, like
Yeah.
her having to move out and ignoring her calls sometimes, and
Mm-hmm.
different stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, but and then we have the little scene where right at the end where Peacemaker and Vigilante, still wearing his mask, might add,
Yeah.
and this lady all sleep together.
Well, Vigilante is very much all about his secret identity.
You're right,
Vi-
at least for the first two episodes.
For a lot of it, he is.
Because I think at some point I think in the third episode his mask comes off or whatever. He's like, "Oh well, I
Yeah.
can't do anything about it now." But it is
Yeah.
really
Something like
funny, and I liked his little comment scene where uh they're smoking pot and they try to hand it over to him, and he goes, 3 years ago I would have killed you for smoking."
that. Yeah. He is very much like by the rules type of
Yeah,
superhero.
I mean, you can kind of tell how he is probably like early Peacemaker, like how he probably
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Going from there.
Yeah.
Um, but the other thing that we kind of skipped over, which is another section I really want to touch on,
All right.
is when they go into his dad's house and it has the time space closet or whatever,
Yeah.
and all the different helmets that they have.
Yeah, and they use those helmets.
Yeah, and they use a bunch of them, but then he's got the one random ass helmet, and this one, because it starts out, I guess he tweaked it or something. Because at
Yeah.
some point he goes, if you put this on, this gives you scabies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, everybody should have scabies once in their life. It's a good learning thing.
Experience. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Because
then
his dad makes all of his equipment.
yeah, and then it
Yeah.
kind of goes from there to later on towards the end of the series that it actually changes and it gives everybody in a 30-mile radius scabies.
That's what it was. Yeah.
So yeah, well, it was weird because it gave it to you at one point, and then I guess at some point it got tweaked to where
Maybe.
yeah, maybe it was after his dad got back out of jail because he got put in there. But we find out too that his dad is this big supervillain.
Mm-hmm. The White
Which do you
Dragon.
remember the White Dragon?
Yeah, White Dragon. Yeah.
Which I mean, it's got like devil horns and
The
all this
costume
other
looks
stuff.
cool.
Yeah, which I
Yeah.
I kind of question why his dad's suit didn't have more than just like the gauntlet little.
I don't know. It seemed like it was pretty it was a very accurate comic book costume.
Yeah,
Like I don't know much about White Dragon. This was the first time I ever heard of him. Well,
Yeah,
like looking at him in the comic books versus in the TV show, he looks kind of spot on
yeah.
in
Is
this.
he?
Yeah.
Do you know? Have you read anything about it? About him in
No.
the comics?
No.
Okay.
I know he's
Do
a super
you?
villain.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't know if he was really like a white supremacist guy or anything
Yeah,
else.
he's like a Nazi,
Yeah.
like a neo-Nazi type of character.
So, but I mean, he goes and then all these people in jail like bow down to him and stuff. It gets kind of
Yeah.
weird from there.
Yeah.
Um,
When I saw that part, I was like, they were like, shouldn't he be in like Belle Reve or whatever? Because he's like a cape, you know?
yeah.
And they're like, oh, we don't have the room for him in there right now or whatever. I
Well,
think
no,
that might reference.
they bring up should he be in Arkham?
Yeah, that's what it was. Arkham. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and
And
I thought that was pretty cool.
yeah, and we get all this like white supremacist like white dragon, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Because this was before I knew that he was like a superhero,
Yeah,
but I kind of put like two and two together. I was like, oh, is he a super villain? But then I was like, if he's a super villain, why is he out in the open? Like, is he like a pseudo reform super villain who did his time? Or was he like a supervillain like back in the day when like Peacemaker was a child
right.
and like he did his time and he's out free or whatever? Yeah,
Right.
I kind of question that a little bit.
Yeah, and it had to be before uh Peacemaker went to prison,
Yeah, it was probably before. Yeah,
but I don't know, it was really weird. And then I thought it was really funny based off of who it was when he's trying to come up with like witty nicknames for the Asian cop and keeps calling her
yeah,
Chopstick.
yeah. He
I'm
calls
like
her like chopstick or
I'm
like
like what the hell?
at one point he goes like I can speak your language too, ching chong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, that really played up his character
yeah.
for the
He was
racist role and everything.
like a piece of shit.
Yeah, which I
I
like
love
how
his
she tried
actor
to get
though.
back at him.
I love his actor.
Yeah,
He played he was the bad guy in Terminator 2.
yeah,
The T-1000, I think it was.
yeah. Well, I like how she was getting back at him, and she called him Fork. He goes,
Oh yeah.
"Why wouldn't you call him Spoon?" Well, everybody uses a spoon. He's not that way. So
Yeah.
I really hated as we went further into this where the police officer characters got taken over because
Mhm.
I actually really enjoyed their characters, sometimes even more so than the team with Peacemaker,
Yeah.
which is kind of weird to
Yeah.
say, but
Yeah. But I mean, I liked Peacemaker's team. I mean, I thought the cops were like a good foil
yeah,
almost at some points because they were on his tail trying to look for him
yeah,
because it was his dad was playing the whole I'm innocent thing and check out my son, this and that. So I don't think at this point Peacemaker knew that his dad got framed for the what he did.
no, I think they told him about the car thing
Yeah. And he got
because
really mad about that.
then he kind of goes after John.
Economo.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
goes after Economo for it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
He keeps calling him Diebeard.
Dye beard, yeah. He's like,
Diebeard.
I don't dye my beard. Okay.
Yeah, which I will say, everything that ever gets said in this gets related back to something else at some point.
Yes.
Which
It was
I really
yeah.
like that because in some shows where it's like an empty joke or something like that, this one made good on almost all that. Making it a reference point
Or
to come
like
back to.
Or like all the references that we would see. Like at one point you see like a clipping as to where like his Peacemaker's first bad guy he fought was Kite Man, who was
Yeah,
a Batman villain, and he like
yeah,
brought him in, and like he talks about like Matter Eater Lad, who
yeah.
is part of the he's part of the Legion of Superheroes. So like they bring in like
Right,
all these like really obscure characters
right.
like
Yeah.
referenced in this show. So yeah, we move on to
To their
they're going
first
to
mission.
their first mission. They're going to assassinate, I think it was a governor, no, a state senator is what it was.
Yeah, it was a
State
state senator.
Senator Ray Roland Goff, I think it was. So they just call him Goff. Uh,
Yeah,
and they're going to go assassinate him because they believe him to be a butterfly, and
and
they're there to,
they don't know how many of them they're going to have to kill. If it's
yeah,
just him or if it's his entire family.
yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. And so they go out to assassinate this guy. It's Peacemaker and Harcourt go out, and they're kind of watching, waiting for him to show up. And I love this scene where they're waiting and just kind of talking because we get like a little
Well,
banter
so
back and forth between them.
I want to pick out the scene right before this one, real quick,
Okay,
where he pulls the gun out and he goes, "There's no fucking bird of peace on
it's
this."
the dove of peace. Get it
Yeah,
correct.
there's no dove of peace on this.
And she's like, they're like, what? And she's like, I can't kill anybody if the dove of peace isn't on my weapon. It's a symbol of peace.
Right.
And well, she's like, why don't you just draw it on the gun? He's like, it's not the same. Every time I draw it on the gun, it just looks like a ghost.
Yeah.
And so you see him with Sharpie, and he like draws out the dove of peace on this like big sniper rifle.
Right.
And yeah, and that's when we meet Vigilante too. Vigilante shows up, and they kind of shoo him off, and he's like, "Yeah, I can't like talk about this right now." He's like, oh, "Okay, But because
Yeah,
Vigilante,
before they leave where they're at.
yeah, we meet
Which
Vigilante and
were they in
stuff.
like an old comic book store? That's what I thought that was.
It was a video rental store.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was where you go to rent videos. That's what it was, because they had a bunch of like, sometimes you would see like videotapes or movie posters on the wall.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like a rundown, condemned rental store.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where they were. I thought you could say it's a comic book store. I don't know. I mean, I didn't really know where they were at first. I was like, where are they? Like, why are they in this weird store? I was like, oh, it's like a
Yeah.
Blockbuster.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a Blockbuster. It was like something else.
But jumping back to them being in the field.
Yeah.
No, back to what you were talking about.
Oh yeah, jumping back into the fields. So yeah, they're in like the woods waiting for this goth guy to come home, and they're having this conversation, talking, and they're kind of they don't really like, Peacemaker is really into Hardcore, but Hardcore doesn't really care about Peacemaker whatsoever. Like she just
Right.
wants to get the job done and like go home or whatever. She's not about having like romantic relationships with their coworkers.
Right.
But I love this scene where she gives him trail mix, and he takes out the like the good trail mix and puts the bad trail mix back in the bag.
Yeah, he takes out like the pretzels and
Yeah.
anything that's not like a nut or a berry. He puts everything back.
She's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, those are no carbs, or like
Those are
filler
empty
carbs or
calories.
something. Empty calories. That's what it was. Empty
Yeah.
calories. Yes."
Yeah.
And so we get there and we see uh Goff finally shows up, and Peacemaker is gonna kill him, but his family is there too. And we see them like drinking this weird liquid, I think it is. It's like a sap or a honey type of thing.
Yeah.
And Peacemaker basically like has a change of heart and starts flashing to when he killed Rick Flag, because before that, uh Peacemaker was all about doing what needs to be done, even if he has to kill women, children. If they done something bad, he just kill them and take them out. But after he ended up killing Rick, uh his he starts to seem to question his morals and his way of life and what he thinks is and really truly believes. And I
Yeah,
I
because
feel like this.
he's almost like shell shocked.
Yes, he is. And almost like a PTSD type of thing.
Yeah.
And he can't do it. He can't kill these people. Uh and then Vigilante steps in and just kills him.
Oh
He
yeah.
just kills him.
Well,
Yeah.
and I love this part because Vigilante, if you haven't seen this yet, by the time you watch this, Vigilante is, I would say, a watered down Deadpool in most things.
He's like, which is weird because he's not like that in the comic book.
Yeah,
In the
but
comic book, he's a
I like this scene that you're talking about where he steps in because he's like,
mhm.
"Hey, buddy, could you scooch over for a second?"
Yes, scooch over. I got this. It's okay.
And then you just see him raise his goggles that he's got, and just bam, 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 like
Yeah,
instantly without like any stall or anything. He just starts taking people out.
yeah. Because it's weird to see the difference between him in the comics and him in the show. Because in the show, he is kind of like a lovable, jokey psychopath almost. Like
Yeah,
he has no problem like killing bad people. You know, he has
yeah.
no problem really killing. I don't know if he's like will kill good people, but he has no problem killing
Which,
bad people.
do you know if he fits under the umbrella of being a villain or a?
He's a superhero.
Okay,
Yeah, he's basically a vigilante, kind of like the Punisher. I mean,
yeah, the vigilante
he's
in
in that
Deadpool.
he's in that gray area
Yeah.
of you
Well, and I
know,
mean, all three of these people kind of are Judo Master, Vigilante,
yeah,
and Peacemaker. Kind of are
yeah,
in the gray area.
yeah. But yeah, so that ends up happening, and then Judo Master ends up kicking him and basically capturing Peacemaker and Vigilante, and they get
Yeah.
taken down
Well,
to the
can I point this out about Judo
sure,
Master? Judo Master is, I think, a really funny character in
yeah,
and of himself, just like how he is.
yeah.
So he's this really short Asian guy, really short.
Was
We
he
never
was he a
really.
guy? Was he a guy or is he a girl?
I'm pretty sure he's a guy.
Okay, because for a moment there I thought he was like a female.
No, I'm pretty sure he's a guy.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
but I mean, just as short as this person was and everything else, and then to walk around and eating flaming hot Cheetos like all the fucking time. Like
Yes.
almost every scene we see him, he is eating flaming hot Cheetos.
I want
If
to
he's
know like
if he's
whose
not
idea.
tied down.
I want to know whose idea was that for him to be eating flaming hot
Well,
Cheetos.
you know what it really reminded me of is fuck. What's the actor's Tony Stark? What's his actor's name?
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. So for the Marvel movies, he would actually like put snacks in places where people didn't know and would randomly have it. Well, anytime he had a snack, it wasn't actually put into the script or whatever for him,
Uh huh.
but he always had snacks. And that's what it made me think about was sitting there watching him eating blueberries or some kind of whatever snack that it was. And that's what Judo Master was eating these flaming hot Cheetos all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hey, here it is.
But he would eat them like so slow, like 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 it was odd.
It was
but it was
like
funny.
he had to like lick off the powder or something before he
Yeah,
shoot up the chip.
yeah,
But it was just weird because it wasn't anything stereotypical of like an Asian person.
yeah,
So I thought it was just really funny too that it was just flaming hot Cheetos.
yeah. That's definitely
This
true.
was like, okay, is there anything else? And then as you kept seeing his character, that's all it was, all the time.
Yeah. So
So
yeah, so we move into the next episode where Vigilante and Peacemaker are captured by Goff, and he's going to be tortured for information on what he knows, and that's kind of our whole episode in
yeah,
this
don't
in
take the
this next one.
toe.
Yeah, don't take the toe, don't, because Peacemaker doesn't want to give up information, so Goff is going to basically cut off all of Vigilante's feet or
Yeah,
his toes and his feet or whatever, and uh, basically Peacemaker's like, take one for the team, Vigilante. And he's like, I'm not gonna talk.
um, yeah. This part was one of those that I was like, what? He's like, oh yeah, like he was really like getting into it. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
do it.
do it, fucking do it. You know?
So, but then the one little thing before we get off of this episode,
Uh,
I wanted to point out was the little phone bomb thing that
Myrrh.
that Murr had to use.
Uh huh.
You know, he had to get really close when it exploded,
Yeah.
and we find out later on that uh, there's something tied to that because he didn't really get hurt by it.
Yeah. True.
So traversing forward
Mm-hmm.
into the next episode.
Where they're captured,
Yeah.
or the next one after that. Oh, so we find out. We can just pass a lot of this. We find out what
Yeah.
the butterflies are. I guess you could
Yeah.
say
Yeah, the little alien
the butterflies are butterflies.
yeah,
They're alien
basically.
butterflies,
Yeah.
and John Peacemaker was right. They were just giant butterflies, and because Argus is terrible at naming their missions. Project Butterfly, Project Starfish.
Right.
At one point, I think before this, Peacemaker thought he was going to be fighting Mothra. At one point,
Yeah. Yeah. And it happens.
Sorry. Yeah,
Project
sorry.
Lizard, we're fighting Godzilla.
Yeah, Project Lizard fighting Godzilla, but
Yeah.
they end up getting out, and Peacemaker finds out that, or sees the butterfly, and this is where we see where there's more than just him. Is
More
that
than
right?
just which one?
Goff.
Not yet. We don't see that just yet.
Okay.
They do tell us that there's more out there, but we don't see that yet.
All right. Yeah.
Because we go a couple episodes with Goff being in the jar.
Yeah, because he doesn't actually kill Goff. He keeps him secretly in a jar.
Yeah.
Which is weird. You know.
Yeah. Which I was kind of okay with that, but then later on, after Goff gets out, I thought it was a little weird
Yeah.
because they tried to kill him, but then they tried not to kill him. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I get it.
but
I get it.
but they had one of my favorite actors, I can't remember his name, be the head police officer on this to cover things up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of my favorite guys. He played the Swede in Hell on Wheels and a couple other things. Like, he's just a pretty good actor, I think. The head police officer guy, I can't remember his name.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just really nonchalant about stuff, which I think that's what most of his characters turn into. But they're really trying to figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
We do get a scene here where
They finally explain the
Autobio,
butterflies.
huh?
They finally explain the butterflies too.
They do, yeah. They finally explain the butterflies. They finally bring up about his dad being in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and him and Adebayo kind of become better friends.
Yeah, that's true.
And then you have this little part with all of that stuff where Vigilante is going to get himself caught to actually
Yeah.
try and
Is this in this episode, right?
kill his dad. I think it was in the next episode.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
because towards the end of this one, I think is when we find out that he kept Goff.
I think so, yeah. So
So
it kind of all blurs together for me
yeah,
when I
well,
think
these
about it.
ones start really blurring because there's not. It's like they go on one mission to another.
True, true. And so I guess we could talk about the next mission they go on, which is, I mean, because a vigilante gets himself captured or arrested, and he goes to try to assassinate Peacemaker's father, but that fails tremendously. He does beat up a bunch of white supremacist people, so yay for him. Uh,
Yes.
but his response to them was like fucking hysterical. Like,
Oh my god. Yes.
it was like,
Yes.
who's fucking their sister now, or something like that.
Yeah. Yes. And I mean, and that's just a whole great scene right there in and of
Yeah,
itself. I fucking love that scene. Um, which we do have where Peacemaker's dad is like, "Hey, I need to talk to a lawyer."
yeah,
Um,
because he
about
keeps talking about the fingerprints.
yes,
Yeah,
which it all kind of gets written off at some point too. Which that's when we find out, like I said, with the head police chief, that he got subbed out and is actually covering for them with most of it.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but we get ready and we go on the next mission.
Yes, where they're going to
The
uh
factory.
the factory, and they're going to try to destroy their food supply, the
Yes.
butterflies' food supply. Um, yeah, let's talk about this, man. This episode was fucking crazy.
Oh my
Like,
gosh. Yeah. Um
where do you
so
start? You know?
right as they're loading up on weapons and everything else, right before they get out of the van,
Yeah,
Vigilante pulls out a chainsaw and he goes, "Oh, can I use this?"
yeah. Where does he get the chainsaw from? You
He
know,
loaded it in the van, you know.
I want to know how much money Vigilante spends on weapons, because he just seems to be like a busboy at the
That's
restaurant.
true too.
Like,
Well, and
how much?
I wonder if he ever gets them from like other sources.
Yeah, like steals them.
Well, like takes them from like the people he kills.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, or maybe he takes money from people that way too.
What was it? He has the V car, where it's like a Subaru or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's his own little car, and he goes, "Why don't you just tell people it's the Subaru? I can't put a big V on it. I can't drive to work and stuff and have my." And I think there's a spot here where he says like, um, so he picks out some superhero. I want to say it's Batman because they well on Batman a lot in this.
Is this when he
Where
goes back to his house, or his dad's house, and the
no, this is
guy?
before that when they're talking about the car still.
Yeah,
And he's like, he goes, I just can't put like the vigilante mobile on this or whatever. He goes, I can't do that. I have a job and other stuff that I do. And then I think he says something like, I'm not Batman. I just can't park the Batmobile out in front of my job. Like something like that. I think it's Batman, but I can't remember which superhero it is. But
I
whatever
have
their
to say,
vehicle is.
though, Peacemaker does make a good uh argument against Batman
Yeah.
in this, to where at one point his neighbor is like, why don't you have a rogues gallery like Batman does? And he's like, because Batman is a fucking pussy. oh, my fucking supervillains are 6 feet underground. So I do what I need to do to get the job done.
Right.
I'm like, Peacemaker is kind of right in
Well,
this.
and it does make sense when you think about it. A lot of heroes do that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why
No,
they're
most, yeah,
reoccurring.
yeah. I think the only other person who kills is villains or Punisher. I think.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways. So we go to the factory. We have this big fight with the butterflies and the Peacemaker crew, and it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's awesome.
Right.
I love. I
Which we have that grenade thingy
he
that he made.
straps a grenade to a tank mortar. I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my god.
And she's
He
like,
that.
well, it's got like a timer on it. And
Yeah,
Autobio asks him, why don't you just throw a grenade? He goes, not enough range. He
yeah,
throws
not
this,
enough range.
whoop.
Yeah, and so he chunks this thing, and it blows up, and they get into this secret door, and a gorilla attacks them. And I was like,
Yes.
oh, is this Gorilla Grodd? Nope, it's not Gorilla Grodd. It's just a gorilla with a butterfly in his head. So
Yes.
I guess they can also get into apes
I
as
think they
well.
can get into all animals.
I thought it was just like human
I don't know.
like beings.
I have no
I don't
idea.
know. But I love this
But
fight with the gorilla, and they're all getting their ass kicked.
yeah.
And then like not Autobio, Economo just shows up and just fucking chainsaws this fucking gorilla in half.
Yeah.
And Vigilante is so bummed out that he didn't get to use the chainsaw.
Well, so like leaving that, we get this thing where they take a picture. Somebody takes a picture, and
It's a
it's
hardcore.
yeah, and it's the crew sitting there, which
Yeah,
affects Economo later on.
yeah,
But from this picture, we do have a little spot where Vigilante actually is talking to Peacemaker, and he goes, I think John set that up. I think he knew that I wanted to use the chainsaw. And
yeah,
here we go. We're only in there for like 5 minutes, and here he comes in with the chainsaw.
yeah.
like
But also,
like
I also
Vigilante
love
being
this.
so petty. I was thinking like, oh my god, we're about to have a part where Peacemaker's gonna have to step in to defend Economo because
Yeah.
Vigilante's gonna try and kill him
Well,
over this fucking chainsaw.
Peacemaker, has been riding Economo so hard in this from here from beginning of the series to now, and making fun of him and stuff like that,
Yeah,
calling him Diebeard, and but I love this part when they're going to attack or they're in attacking the the facility. They just walk in, and he starts shooting people, and Adebayo's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I got X-ray vision with my helmet.
I can see
I
the
can
butterflies
I can see all the butterflies, But we
in their
do get this
heads.
kind of nice bonding moment later on through Economo and Peacemaker, because they both like the same like punk band,
Yes.
and they kind of bond over that, and we get this really cool scene uh for the end of the this episode, where Adebayo finds out that it has a butterfly in his head,
Right. Yeah.
and we think Murr is a bad guy. Murr is not a bad guy. He is actually does not believe in what the other butterflies are doing, so he is trying to take them down
Yeah. Which, I
and
mean, we
stop
can
them.
go into that.
Sure, yeah,
Mur Goff believes that humanity needs to be put on the right course.
yeah,
Mur believes that humanity should just stay on its own course and we'll figure it out as it goes.
true.
So that's kind of our distinguishing factor between both of these. Um, but I think getting into the next episode, that's where they end up the police end up going after Peacemaker in his
Yes.
trailer.
Yeah. Oh, that
Uh,
scene was cool. Like I liked.
Vigilante ends
Yeah.
up taping the jar for Goff onto himself, and he ends up falling
Yeah.
and crushing it open. And then the
Hmm.
Asian police officer, Goff flies into and takes control of.
Yeah.
And from there, it gets worse because she summons like all the little ships of butterflies.
Hmm. Can I
And
just say, before that though, like I love because they're
yeah,
kind of like just sitting around at the trailer, and they don't know the um the police are coming for them, and they've surrounded the trailer,
yeah,
uh and the crew or Peacemaker's group is trying to get a hold of him. They can't get a hold of him, and they see this, and that's when he tapes Goff to him because they're going to take him with them,
yeah.
because they kind of start talking to him, and they do like a yes no type of thing on the jar.
No, how do you know if you don't like if an alien doesn't like turquoise?
That's not a yes no question.
Is
But
turquoise your favorite color? Do you like
but
turquoise?
I love this scene where they're trying to escape from the the police, and they're running through the woods, and Eagly is like systematically like taking out the police.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah, he's taking out the police, and I'm just like, Eagly is so badass.
right.
Because nobody like questions Eagly. Like everybody like, what's this eagle doing here? They just think he's like an eagle, but he actually does help out Peacemaker from time to time.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think maybe Peacemaker had a bag of chips with him or something.
Oh my god. That's one of the other things I love throughout this too. Just crinkle a paper bag or something. He'll think it's a bag of chips. Who feeds their eagle a bag of
And
chips?
later on, like Vigilante is feeding him chips.
Yes.
I think he's feeding him like
Yes.
Cheetos or something.
Oh
Yeah,
no, not
but I
the
love
flaming
this
hot
scene
Cheetos.
where and like the police chief shows up and kills the other police
Yeah.
because he's working with uh like Argus and them, or working for Myrrh,
Yeah.
and because they have like history. And then this is where, yeah, we can talk about the scene where all the butterflies show up, and
Yeah. All
I
their
just,
little ships come down.
yes, oh man, that was crazy. I was seeing who is Goff, but he's in the body of the Asian detective, I think it is,
Yeah.
and all the butterflies are behind her, and you get this like kick ass like rock song, and it's
Yeah.
like, and I was like, oh, this is a fucking badass scene, and like they're all the butterflies are going into the people, and they're trying to run away, but they can't get away, and now they have an entire army against Peacemaker. I was like, oh, that's fucking, oh,
Yeah, and it's all the
the white
inmates and the
supremacists.
police. Yeah.
Yeah, the police, the all of them. Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, no, that was crazy. That was very crazy to like see.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. I was like, whew, that's harsh because I like you. I like the police officers, like the two like the I forget what their names are. It's like Song and something else. I can't remember what their names are. But I like them. I like them because I like them. They're trying to find out what was going on in
Starsky and
this.
Hooch?
I don't remember what their names are, but yeah, that was a very like very terrifying moment to see like how like they go into the body. It was just kind of disgusting to
Oh
like,
yeah.
and like unsettling. I was like, "Ugh, oh my god,
Right?
yeah, but yeah, That's crazy.
Yeah.
But
Oh
yeah,
man, because
now we're
that is one of the weirdest parts. I mean, especially that, which I like the scene where it's the police chief captain guy, and he's sitting
yeah.
there, and all of the butterflies start like sticking to the glass.
Yeah, he like locks the door.
Yeah, and his office goes from like being pretty light or everything,
Uh-huh.
and all of them creating like the shadow from the outside, so only the
Yeah.
light on the inside is actually what's coming in through the
And
windows.
you can see them like slowly like cracking at the glass to get to him.
Yes.
I was like, oh fucking those fucking bitches, you know. But um because of that, uh well, also Autobio planted a journal or diary in Peacemaker's room. We forgot about that. Uh and we find out that Peacemaker is now a wanted fugitive.
Right.
Because they make him look like he's like this kind of like nut job conspiracy theorist
Yeah.
uh, type of thing, and he was like kind of responsible for everything they say, and so now he's a wanted man with vigilante. But Adebayo feels really bad about this, and she didn't really want to do it, but it was like it was I think her mom's plan to do this. Like it was like a backup plan or like he
Yeah.
like Peacemaker was gonna take the fall for it type of thing.
Yeah.
I think it was right.
Yes.
And so we move into the next episode. You want to start talking about the next episode where his dad finally becomes the white dragon again.
Yes.
All right.
So his puppy becomes the white dragon again.
Do you not remember this part?
I do, where they're out in the woods,
Yeah, yeah.
and then like they're taking out part of the well, so let's back it up for a second.
They're gonna go kill the cow. That's what it was. I think it was.
Yes, they're gonna get ready to go do that, but uh things happen,
Uh huh.
which the end of the last episode is what I wanted. You know, you have a part where somebody asks, because it's before the butterflies go to the jail.
Yeah.
You have a part where somebody asks uh his dad and says, "Well, what
Yeah.
are you planning to go do?" He's like, uh I'm gonna go fuck a superior bitch
Yeah.
and and then go kill my son or something like that.
Yes. Yes.
So then he's sitting there on the bed, and there's this girl smoking a cigarette behind him,
Uh huh.
bald, everything else. You know, obviously he slept with her. And he walks
Yeah.
in and starts putting on his suit.
Yeah. And she's
And
naked. She's naked, and she puts a hood over her head
yeah,
at one point. I think.
yeah.
Yeah, they look
So
like they look like the Ku Klux Klan, but they
they
have like
do.
devil horns instead of one
Yeah,
pointed.
instead of one point in their hood, it's two.
Yeah, and
So
some
they
of them, some of the hood, like the points are like flopped over, so they kind of look like a dog.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it they really do that to represent the white dragon and how his helmet is, you know, with the
yeah,
devil horns and shit like that.
yeah,
Um and then we get into this other stuff where uh you know, he's being tracked,
uh huh,
Peacemaker's being tracked by his dad by the helmet,
yeah,
or the helmets that his dad has made.
yeah. True, true that.
Um yeah. And then they get in a fight over it. Different things
Oh, I
happen from
love that. I
there.
love this part. I love this part. You know, where they're in the car or in the van,
Yeah.
and like they're getting ready for a mission or to go. I can't remember what they were gonna do. I think they're gonna go try to find the cow or see what they can, because it was all about trying to find this cow,
Yeah.
which is like this giant alien thing, and because they're looking for the food source, and Economo, Peacemaker, Vigilante are in this van, and they get attacked by the White Dragon, and Peacemaker is like shocked that this has happened, and his dad is here, and he's like, "I'm just gonna fucking kill you, dad." You know, his dad's like, "I'm gonna kill him," you know, and so they're on the run. They're at a disadvantage because all the the White Dragon's crew is on their tail and they're tracking them through the helmets. Peacemaker realizes they're tracking through the helmets, and this is where he gets it's like a raccoon or something. He
Yeah.
ties the helmet to the raccoon. I think it is. And so the raccoon's like running around the forest. They're
Yeah.
following a raccoon, and you see him like his face is all ripped up and stuff because the animal attacked him.
Yeah.
But I love this the scene where he's like going to go hide the rest of the helmets because they're in the car. Because I think Vigilante grabs the helmet bag. I think it is.
Uh,
And
I think he tells them about it because then that's when Peacemaker grabs it and runs off.
yeah, but when you see all the White Dragon like henchmen come out of the woods, that was such a terrifying scene as well. Because I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
it's him versus like 20 other guys, and I was like, oh no, what the fuck is gonna happen?
Right. Yeah.
And he starts like running and trying to get everybody back in the V car, the V mobile, but that doesn't work out so well, and they end up getting into a fight with Peacemaker, and Vigilante shows up and stabs. No, Economo shows up and shoots all the bad guys, all the White Dragon
Yes.
bad guys, and then the White Dragon himself shows up, and I love this scene where Vigilante just comes in and just stabs him in like the shoulder. He's like, you got a weak spot in your armor or something like that. And
Yeah.
for a moment there, when Eagly shows up and Eagly like tries to attack, I think it's the White Dragon he attacks, and he kind of
Yeah, he
like bitch
does.
slaps him. I was like, oh my god, did they kill Eagly?
Right.
Did,
I
did
thought
they?
the same thing. I was
I
like,
was like, I was like, no, no, you
well, I was just
cannot.
like, how could you do that? Wasn't he with you
Yeah,
for like 5 years?
he's America's symbol. How could you just?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just,
Uh,
well, I thought like there would be more stock with that
yeah,
because, Eagly has lived with his dad for 5 years while he was away.
that's true. Yeah. But
You
his
know,
dad doesn't care. His dad doesn't care about Eagly. Doesn't even care about his own son. We find out that also when Peacemaker was younger, his dad used to make him and his brother fight, and he accidentally killed his brother. So that's why his dad hates Peacemaker. We do
yes.
find that out, yeah. Which I'm kind of, I mean, it's an interesting turn of events because you find out also that Peacemaker's dad made him the way he is because of
Yeah.
his beliefs, and he's the one who taught him how to kill
Right.
and stuff. So it's kind of like he wanted to have his own right winged, no nonsense superhero. Like I can't remember
Right.
if Peacemaker chose to be a superhero in this, or was forced to be a superhero. I can't
I
remember.
think I think he chose to be a superhero, but it was led to the events from his dad.
Yeah.
Because it totally seems like his dad could have been combing him um into being the superhero that or into the supervillain like he was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Who knows?
right.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting to see like the
And then we find
juxtaposition between the two.
yeah.
But yeah, he finally does kill his dad. He shoots him in the head. Just kills him because Peacemaker's dad calls him a pussy, you know.
Yes.
And then we get Eagly is hurt, and Eagly and Peacemaker and uh Economo end up going to a vet clinic. We also find out that uh the butterflies end up killing Myrrh, because they find Murr and kill him.
Yes.
And we're getting into like the end of this season. Um, we I feel like we got to talk about this eagly part with like eagly means so much to Peacemaker. He's his number one best friend,
Yeah.
even though Vigilante likes to think that him and Peacemaker are best friends. No, it's eagly. It's eagly's first and always first.
Oh, you mean where he's like, I'm just trying to talk to my best friend, and
Yeah,
Peacemaker's number one, Eagly's
yeah,
number two,
yeah,
and Autobio's number five.
yeah. But for Peacemaker, eagly is his best friend, and I have to say, one of the saddest moments is seeing Peacemaker like sitting next to Eagly in the vet hospital, like wanting him to live. I thought that was so sad. Like I was like, oh my god, do not let this bird die. Oh, that would be so terrible. And then he gives him a hug.
Right.
He hugs him, and he finally gets proof that his best friend hugged him. I was like,
Yes.
oh, I feel so warm and fuzzy inside. It's such a good moment. Such a good moment.
Right. Well, and
Uh,
then Autobio sees it, which is the funny part to me in that.
because she's thinking about leaving.
Yeah. And she
She
sees
and
that, and
it
she's like, oh,
because she sees
miracles
this
do happen.
happen. This
Miracles do
happen.
happen.
Yeah, miracles do happen. Um, she gets the resolve to actually finish out her mission,
Yes.
which is they go to take on the cow or the rest of the aliens. You want to get into this and talk about this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the hell is up with Eagly on this part. But
Eagerly fucks up. I think he was probably still high on probably some medication or something,
we gotta
or I
go
don't know.
find the helmet.
Yeah, yeah. So they get this master plan to take. They have all these helmets that they have. They take the master plan to. Their plan is to take the helmet, put it on top of this farmhouse that the aliens are at, the butterflies, and they're
Yes.
gonna set off the sonic boom. That doesn't work out so well. Eagerly takes it and drops it off in the middle of nowhere. So they have to go find this helmet, and we see Peacemaker and Harcourt looking for the helmet, and Peacemaker starts to hallucinate about his father,
Yes.
and this is very much taken straight out of the comic book, where he does hallucinate about his dead dad, and it
Yeah.
is connected to his helmet in some way, shape, or form. Like his helmet's like kind of making him like a little delusional esque,
Yeah.
kind of. And but we see him, he's like, "I'm gonna kill you." I love it when he uses his blow darts.
Yeah.
He's like, "Psst, psst, psst, psst."
Uh,
but he's his dad's not there. His dad's dead, and you see Harcourt like look at him like, "Oh, like hey, come on, like Chris, snap out of this,"
yeah.
And she's like, "Okay, we're gonna do this. I need you to do one thing." And he goes and kills the security guard, like slash sheriff, and Economo ends up having to take the helmet and pretends to be a butterfly in order to get the helmet down into the basement of where the cow is, which is this big mutant looking alien thing. It's weird. It looks like
Yes.
a big giant slug with a bunch of titties.
Well, it kind of looks like Mothra before she changes,
Yeah, yeah.
and then um, I want to say there's another one that I saw that looked like that because when I first saw it, I kind of thought that it was this other one, but I can't remember what movie it's in.
I don't remember. I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't know. It looks like a big giant slug, kind of like
Yeah.
Jabba the Hutt, a little bit,
Yeah.
but it really, really, really big. So as Economo is leaving, he's starting to freak out. One of the butterflies asks him, "Hey, what does your body host do about your beard? Your beard looks a little weird." And we get one of the most heartbreaking origin stories of all time about a person.
Yes.
I don't know how you felt about this,
Oh, it was pretty
but
sad. This, yeah, I
you
mean, you could tell like this is gonna hit some feels.
you want to tell what happens?
No, I don't.
Okay, so he basically gets made fun of and stuff about the way he looks, his beard. He doesn't really feel good about himself, doesn't have a lot of friends. So he dyes his beard to try to get people to kind of like him and make himself look younger and like, possibly get like dates and stuff. And
Yes.
so it was like really sad. And you see Peacemaker hears this. Everybody hears this. They're like, "Oh my god." And he starts to walk away, and the butterflies notice that he's not a butterfly. I think it is,
At this
right?
point,
Yeah, at this point, right?
um, no,
And
it's
that's when
not till after they bring the helmet
no,
back.
it's no, they bring the bag back out. Yes, that's what
Yeah.
it is. They bring the bag back out and they start to chase him. And this part is so cool where they're all like going after him and uh they're like discharge sonic boom or whatever, and it blows the barn up and they go all back to the barn, and seeing all the butterflies like blow up and stuff is just fucking cool. Like,
Right.
I
Yeah,
thought it was cool.
I really like that part. Poof.
Yeah, and you see him running back and everybody's getting ready, hardcore, Peacemaker, Vigilante, they're all ready. Peacemaker's got his Dove of Peace shield that he's got going on, and oh man, it was just, yeah, and Autobio staying back with Economo, and this whole fight with the um, the butterflies and the team is just fucking insane. I was so amazed like how they pulled this off.
Yeah.
Like just seeing them, and they end up getting, the butterflies end up getting kind of like the upper hand. Like Vigilante gets shot, Hardcore gets shot or stabbed, and Peacemaker ends up getting down into the what is it called, the
The
basement.
yeah, like the
Yeah,
catacombs of the thing or
and he
whatever.
ends up falling, and he, I think he get like rocks put on him and stuff, like boulders, right?
I think so.
Yeah. And so Adebayo basically goes to try to save Peacemaker, and she's wearing one of the helmets, which is like human torpedo helmet or something, I think it is.
Yes.
And we think Adebayo is gonna get Peacemaker out of the rubble, but Goth gets Peacemaker out of the rubble. And we see this whole part where Goth is trying to be like, "Hey, Peacemaker, we need your help. This is what we want to do. We want to make the world a better place," type of situation. And I love this scene where uh, she asks him like, "What are you in with us? Do you want to help us?" And he's like, "Activate human torpedo." And all we see is Autobio off to the side
Yeah.
fly off into this big giant cow and just kills it. And I'm like, "Oh man, that was fucking insane." And he kills uh all the other butterflies.
Yeah.
They leave. They leave the premises. And before this, uh Autobio was talking to her mom, Amanda Waller, and she's like, send the Justice League, and they're all beaten, bloodied, barely hanging together. And then the
Right.
Justice League shows up. The
Yeah.
Justice League shows up in the TV show. So you could say it's canon to the DC universe, finally. Because there was a little concerned that the Flash the Flash movie might erase all the DC universe and reset it,
Yeah.
you know. Um, but
He's here. He's in it.
We see Aquaman and the Flash, and somebody who looks like Wonder Woman and Superman. Batman is nowhere to be seen. Just saying. A little worried about Batman. Where was Batman? You know,
Right.
where 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 was Batman? But I love this scene where they're walking away. And he's like, "You're late, assholes," and he's like, "Hey, Aquaman, go fuck another fish." He's like, "Oh god, I hate that rumor." And you see the Flash, Barry's like, that's not a rumor. I heard it was true. He's like, "Go fuck yourself, Barry."
Right. Yeah.
And I do you want to talk about the ending? We'll get into the ending.
Yeah. Where
Yeah.
Autobio brought up, called everything out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Autobio is sitting there and brings up on national television
Uh-huh.
basically that Peacemaker and Vigilante had nothing to do with any of some of the stuff they were framed for, and that um, is it Amanda Waller?
Yeah, Amanda Waller.
Yeah, um, is her mom, but that she also basically set up oh, what's it called?
The Diary, Peacemaker.
Not the diary, the group.
Task Force X.
Yes, that she set up Task Force X and everything, and that it's been this thing moving forward from there.
Yeah.
Um, and just kind of like outing it to the world. So I kind of wonder what season two is going to hold for us with that.
True. I kind of wonder that as well because at the end, Economo goes back to working at Belle Reve, where Task Force X is like located at the end, and I'm curious as to will Task Force X still be a thing?
Right?
Will we get more Suicide Squad? Will other Suicide Squad members appear in Peacemaker? Because we are getting a season two. It's already been confirmed. This is like the fucking number one hit show in the entire world right now. Um, but we do see Vigilante's still okay. He's still blowing shit up with uh Peacemaker, and they having a good old time. And but we get to see that Harcourt survived, and she now seems to really care about Peacemaker as a person, which
Yeah.
is always a good thing. But yeah, that's kind of where we end off. Is Peacemaker is at home drinking a beer. I think there a butterfly shows up at his door, right?
Yeah, because he never killed Goff.
Yeah, that's what it was.
He killed Goff's host, but not Goff
Goth itself.
herself. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
there's
you
still a
have
butterfly out there.
yeah, so you have Goff show up, and you have Eagly flying around, and then you have the ghost of his dad pop up.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought Eagly was gonna eat Goff.
I thought so too.
I thought he was gonna eat him.
I was
But
waiting for it, and it didn't happen.
yeah, tell me, because I love this show, and I thought it was basically perfect in every way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
I had a fun ride with this show. I want to know what you thought because at first you seemed to not really be interested in Peacemaker when I said, "Hey, check out Peacemaker. It's really good." You seem to be very
Um,
hesitant about it.
I mean, I really enjoy it. There's just a lot of DC stuff that has let me down. Like I haven't ever been able to make it through part of the TV shows. I'm really behind on basically all the movies until I started
Yeah.
watching Shazam probably last month,
Uh
so
huh.
there's just been a lot of stuff like that where I just
Yeah.
DC just has never really impressed me very much.
Uh huh.
So that was kind of the problem with it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. But what'd you think about this?
But this one was really good. I this with some of a few other ones that I've seen are ones that I am trying to give DC another chance with. So we'll
I
just have to see as it goes from there, though.
I feel like honestly with this one is I feel like they let James Gunn do whatever he wanted to do, and they didn't
Yeah,
have really have the reins on him.
yeah,
Like say like other directors, like kind of like the Justice League happened and stuff like that, you know?
yeah,
And they kind of just let him do what he wanted to do. And I feel like that's how and why this turned out to be so good.
yeah,
And a lot of people really like it. Like John Cena, for as much as a flawed character he plays, like he becomes a really likable character in this show.
right.
Like you can see the characters change over time dramatically from start to finish, you know, and it doesn't help that it has kick-ass action scenes as well. But it was just so fucking good. Like I am so excited for the next season. And James Gunn has stated after he is done with Guardians of the Galaxy, which is the next movie that's
Yeah,
coming out, that he's making currently, he's only going to be working on DC TV shows.
yeah.
So he doesn't want to do,
Also,
I guess, movies anymore.
yeah,
He wants to do work on TV shows, which is cool. See what kind of stuff he gets into with that. I think he did
right.
a bang up job on this. It was really
I agree.
good. Yeah, really fucking good.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, this is just phenomenal compared to, I think, even some of the other TV shows that are out like right now.
Yeah.
Um, and like I said, everything that is brought up in it is tied and is brought back up going forward. So it's like no stone was left unturned,
No,
if that
no.
makes sense, you know.
Yeah. No, I get you.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I can't really wait for season 2 to come out with it.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. I'm so excited.
and just to kind of go from there of what else could potentially happen out of Peacemaker and stuff, you know.
I think this is probably like up there, like one of the best things DC has released live action wise. Like, is
Yes,
that good? Is that good?
yes,
Up there with the Suicide Squad in this.
yes. I
What
would
would you
agree with that.
rate this? What would you rate this at a 5?
Out of 5, I'd probably give it a 4.5.
Wrong answer. It's 5 out of 5.
No comment. No
It's 5
comment.
out of 5 for me.
That's okay. Difference of opinion, yo.
Yeah, I know. Free guy.
Yeah. See, look.
This is better than Free Guy. I'll tell you that much.
Fuck you. Whatever.
All right,
So
you
yeah.
let's
But as
wrap this
always,
up.
guys, thanks for listening, and we will catch you on the next show. As always, well, now I feel weird that Heartless in here to say, see you next Tuesday.
Otakuology
Um,
podcast
yeah, see you next Tuesday.
Tuesday.